Boo bee boo boo bee boo. Bee 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 boo bee boo. That's the X-Files theme, because I can't use the actual theme song or I'll get copyright struck. I'm acapellaing that. Acapellaing that? Yeah, we'll go with that. I'm doing the acapella version of that because we're going to cover some conspiracy theory stuff this video. It's going to be very fun. I love doing these little videos where I'm covering things that could or could not be happening, but as far as I'm concerned, this is probably happening because Activision has proved yesterday that they are complete scumbags who are hiding things in plain sight. Speaking of hiding things in plain sight, I'm 99% sure I don't get aim assist when I aim through the cockpit here on the terminal plane. They completely butchered this terminal plane. I went back and played some MW2OG, just some private games, just to see how badly they messed up this plane with the midget door, and like outside you'll hit your head going in the back ramp thing. That didn't happen in the OG. The cockpit's completely ruined. They added some weird like center console with collision, and the windows are tinier. Apparently you lose aim assist. It's just a mess, dude. It's a complete mess. Oh, and if somebody could tell me what happens here, I've used the Strela and the Pila, and it will not lock on to UAVs. The only thing that locks on launcher-wise is the Joker. Look at this. Look, what? Huh? I can mark it with engineer or whatever, the engineer vest, and I'm like, is it locking on? And the Joker hits the ceiling in terminal, like constantly if I use that. But anyway, conspiracy theory stuff. After yesterday, seeing Sledgehammer do the AMA, and like I said yesterday, before they even answered any questions, I was like, they're not going to cover these SBMM questions. You know, they're just going to ignore those. And they did. They ignored every single one of them. I think that thread had like, I think it was like 5,000 comments. And I'm not kidding when I say that the most upvoted and the most comments were about SBMM. Everyone was ignored. So, yeah, that should just tell you all you need to know. They ignored Marksman. They ignored Marksman. I mean, the guy with the most upvotes, the guy with the biggest YouTube channel, the guy who cares about the game, and then the next thing I know, I see Marksman uploading a video about him reverse boosting or just partying up with a bad account and then having it back out, which is what I actually did in this gameplay. I partied up with a bad friend of mine, a not very good friend of mine, like a 0.7 KD guy. And then I had him back out, and this is one of the weirdest lobbies I have ever seen. So it's really hard to actually reverse boost and session join anymore. They have some weird queue thing, so that it messes with it. But like you can just party up with somebody, and then it'll kind of lower your overall, you know, skill bracket or whatever. This is the weirdest match you'll ever see, though, and I'm just gonna let it play out. But anyway, back to the topic of skill-based matchmaking, real quick. Sledgehammer did one good thing in that AMA. They said something about they're testing out removing the disbanding lobbies or whatever. So there's that. And everybody's like, you know, very, very happy about that. But guess what? I've heard that shit before. We were lied to straight up by Infinity Ward because this never happened and was never spoken of again. I think they'll do the exact same thing here because it's tied to skill-based matchmaking. It wouldn't surprise me if it's not even a real human being writing these responses. They just write out what we want to hear, and it's coded in. This robot is coded just to never talk about skill-based matchmaking. It does not exist. And that's a great segue into the next portion of this video. Bots and conspiracy theories. Let's do it. It starts with this new post from Call of Duty, all right? Just look at this. Just look at this image and tell me this isn't the... I just can't buy it. I just cannot buy it. Just look at this, guys. Look at this. So Call of Duty, as we all know, will never miss an opportunity to suck their own dick. If they're not in the shape of a saxophone, they're just not happy, clearly. So here we go. Another... Another just self-flagellation post from them, but this one's weird. They've always kind of done this, but this is egregious, and one of these things I just don't think is true flat out. The math just does not make sense, all right? Let's look over this, seriously. Let's go over this with a fine-tooth comb here. More hours per player overall than Modern Warfare 2019 and Modern Warfare 2. So what that means is that more players are playing longer. It doesn't mean that they have more players. It means that the average player is playing this game longer than the previous Modern Warfare 1 and 2, which isn't a very good metric when you think about it, because it means that the players that quit playing the other games, they sold better than this one. It means that they got ripped off and duped. They probably bought it and then, like, I don't know, played 5 hours and then quit. Also, that's a weird metric. Like, is that counting just from the past 11 days of all the games? They're not going into detail with it. It's just a very strange metric. It's like saying that Blame Truth brushes his teeth longer than other YouTubers, 5 seconds longer, in fact. And it's like, okay, who could possibly care? It's just a weird metric. So let's move on to the next one. Modern Warfare Zombies is the most engaging third mode in Modern Warfare history. And that's a pretty interesting metric for the simple fact that the third mode in Modern Warfare games has always been garbage. It's just unfinished Spec Ops. Nobody cares about that. So yeah, I would hope that it's the most engaging third mode in Modern Warfare history. That should be a given. Again, another weird metric just to pat themselves on the back for something that, like, I don't know, it's more of an insult to their past games, if anything, you know? Now this last one, I do not believe it. Straight up, I don't believe it at all. Campaign players are putting in more time per player in Modern Warfare 3. Again, that doesn't mean that more people played it. It means that the people that did play it are playing it longer than the previous 2 installments, which I just don't buy. I'm sorry. No way in hell that's true. There's no way that is true. Now, if they're not outright lying about that, I mean, really think about this. Like, the campaigns for the other Call of Duties are roughly twice as long as this new one. And this new one's just been getting crapped on, straight up. So most people play the game once and then they're done. Maybe twice. They'll go through it, you know, like once on regular difficulty and then once on veteran or whatever, and then they're done. I just don't buy this at all. There's just no way a campaign this short is getting this much replayability, playtime, whatever. But before I turn into Scott Steiner here and keep rambling about numbers, if they're not outright lying, which I don't think they're outright lying, I don't think they're faking these metrics or whatever, but I do think that last one in particular, something's up with it. And the gears started turning, and I was just thinking, like, you know what? I've been reading some really weird posts lately. And then with the AMA yesterday, and Sledgehammer ignoring every single person asking about skill-based matchmaking. And I talked about it in yesterday's video, but, like, if they're doing this much to hide it and not address it, then something very, very shady is going on with it. They're not addressing it because if they address it, it's grounds for maybe even legal repercussions. Even if it's not breaking the law now, there may be a new law eventually, like the whole loot box thing, you know? So, yeah, if they're not talking about it at all, something very, very nefarious is going on. But yeah, the gears started turning here, you know? And I was reading some weird comments just lately, and I want to share one of these comments, and I want to share another thing I saw on Reddit, and then I want to share something else after that. So let's get into it. So I'm actually going to share this from Reddit first. This is the Modern Warfare 2 subreddit just description, and I mainly want you to look at the members there. 3 million subreddit members. No other Call of Duty game has even come close to this one as far as subreddit numbers. Like, even the official COD Warzone subreddit numbers are like 1 million. It's very bizarre. You've probably heard me talk about this before. If you're a fan of the channel, you never miss an upload. I've talked about how I believe this has been botted. I've talked about this, I think, as long as, 8 months ago or whatever even. Like, I truly believe that the subreddit numbers for Modern Warfare 2 have been botted, most likely by Activision. And I don't know, like Cold War, for example, I think that has like 700,000 members or whatever. And Cold War was a big Call of Duty. Like, Treyarch's Call of Duties are a big deal. And the fact that, like, this one has over triple, like nearly 4 times as much, if my math's correct there, member-wise, but the game has had way more negative press than Cold War even. Is just odd. And there's only like 1,200 people online right now. And some could say it's because of the new game, but it's always kind of been like that. Only a few thousand, if that, online at any given time. But anyway, yeah, I believe this has been botted. So with that in mind, let's move on to this weird comment I got the other day. So this person says, I had something weird happen during a multiplayer match on Derail earlier today. The gamer tag was FOGXGIR, and this person just walked, and I mean just walked, no sprint or tack sprint around the map. They also never killed anyone or even fired their gun. They came right up to me like 4 times, and it was a free kill for me every time. The way they moved around the map looked like bot pathing, very robotic, and had no game sense at all. They never seemed to react to anything around them. Also, the rest of the enemy team wasn't very good either, but at least they shot at and killed me a few times. The enemy team was comprised of little Timmies, and what I'm 90% certain was a freaking bot, and my team had all decent to good players, myself and one other especially, since the 2 of us went above the 3 KD that game, and the rest of them were either kissing or broke 2 KD. It was really bizarre. I read this, and this is kind of a weird thing to say, but I read this and I got chills. This was on one of my videos. I think it was like 2 days ago or whatever. I read it and I kind of got chills because it's kind of creepy, isn't it? Just the way he describes it, it's kind of creepy. Now, one could say like, it's just somebody like reverse boosting or whatever, like they're just walking around dying to reverse boost, and maybe you're right, but I started thinking more about it, and I was like, you know what? We've covered, in a previous video, we've covered the fact that David Vonderhaar's send-off from like the Call of Duty Twitter was most likely written by ChatGPT. And I even put it in like a checker or whatever, and it came back like there's a 60% chance this was written by AI. And all the responses I saw Sledgehammer leaving on that AMA kind of bot-like as well. Like, just... I mean, how many times have I said in previous videos, it's like this was made by AI or something. Like this game was just made by AI. 3,000 devs were touted to have worked on Modern Warfare Roman numeral 2. Where are they? Who are they? You know, I mean, they have names in the credits, of course, but who are they? Like, where are their physical bodies? Where is their social media? What's their... I don't know, what's their gamer tag? What's their handle? Like, you know, something's just weird about all this. It's just weird. But it gets weirder. It gets weirder, okay? Check this out. So this person says, am I getting put into actual bot lobbies? This is 16 hours ago from when I'm making this video. This says, the last few games I've had, I feel like I was playing actual bots. Like they act just like how I would expect the AI in the game to act. And I even got a 4KD one game, and the next game it was the same thing. I watch kill cams, and they just seem unnatural, and I'm worried that I got falsely flagged as a cheater or something, and they are putting me in bot lobbies. Is anybody else getting this? Very similar to what the other person said, but check this out. It gets stranger. Mr. Shiny Heiny, great name by the way, says, I've seen a handful of players just walking straight into walls. On the flip side, I've seen kill cams that just look robotic, not simply the aim being aimbot. I know I saw something in here that Warzone is supposed to implement AI players similar to how Fortnite does. Maybe they're testing it? And then a little light bulb went off above my head. That's why these metrics are true. They are using bots to pad player retention. The reason they don't talk about skill-based matchmaking is because stuff like this happens to keep you playing. Who knows if you're even playing real people most of the time? Do you recall the video the other day where I talked about the player OD that joined my lobby and then just kind of died a lot and then left my lobby and we lost by 1 kill? He left before the game even finished. He joined the match and then left before it finished. I didn't even see what the hell he went score-wise. I couldn't see it. I couldn't check his profile either. It's like he was a bot put into my lobby to make me lose. The game is filled with bots that manipulate your experience. The game is filled with bots that will either aimbot you. You're not facing cheaters, you're facing bots. Or you're playing against bots that will just walk into you and not shoot. You think they're reverse boosting, but it's bots manipulating your experience. How the hell did we tie this other team? Demon Juice on my team is just slaughtering everyone. 63 kills, but he didn't bother to get any tags. I got a lot of tags. How did we tie this game? It doesn't make any sense. No sense whatsoever. The other team were terrible. I don't understand unless I'm just not even playing with real people. This is a conspiracy! Or maybe people just suck and it's all coincidence. I don't know. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, though. Rate, comment, and subscribe. Ring that notification bell. I will catch you on the next one. Peace out.
Do some parting advice.